Alter her energy linkage now. Make it as strong as possible.
This isn't what we agreed to do.
Relax. You can handle it.
Mr. Silas, I think there's another reason why she can't resonate. You see, her evol is special. It utilizes the waves generated by the human brain's magnetic field. Maybe her brain's magnetic field produces repulsive waves against you. That's why she can't resonate with you.
Get to the point.
To make a long story short, on a subconscious level, she's either rejecting you, scared of you, or, disgusted by you. Even if she undergoes alteration, you won't be able to resonate with her so long as she's still hostile toward you. And Mr. Silas, if the alteration fails, she will be completely ruined. We need to address the cause first.
Which means there's something wrong with her.
You! Let go of me!
By the way, I have an evol stabilizer in the storage cabinet. I'll make her use it.
Perhaps worried that his inventions would get caught in a crossfire, he quickly takes me to a room on the second floor.
Right now, you need to stay calm, miss.
He bends down and pulls out a dusty electronic device from underneath the cabinet.
The N109 zone is a chaotic place, and you have a part of an ether core. Accompanying him is the safest option.
You know I'm carrying an ether core? A burst of red light appears and scans my whole body. Several windows pop up on an old-fashioned display screen, which shows the data is being analyzed.
I recognize that protocurve. Monitoring ether cores used to be my job.
A guess pops into my mind. I look again at the dusty electronic device. Just as I thought, there's an inconspicuous mark in the corner. I saw it among the files Grandma left not too long ago.
The N109 zone is a mess right now. An outsider like you who's unfamiliar with the details can easily lose her life. Sticking with Silas might not be a bad idea. Better to be with him compared to some other people.
Silas is a heartless man. He may only want to alter me right now, but is going to get me killed eventually. Exasperated, the shopkeeper shakes his head.
You're just not used to the darkness yet. There are predators lurking in these depths that you haven't seen.
Some people are even scarier than him.
You say Silas is heartless, but sometimes those with hearts are even crueler than those without.
Like Xavier said, the N109 zone is very divided. Each faction only recognizes its own allies. Fighting alone is obviously not a good idea in a place like this, but if I really have to stay close to Silas, the shopkeeper's concern seems to be genuine. After weighing my options, I nod and flash a reassuring smile. I understand what you mean. I'll give it some thought. Beep. The lines on the screen rise and fall, showing two intertwined curves.
Alright, there's nothing wrong with your evil. The energy of the ether core inside you is also stable. Have you figured out what you'll do next?
The ether core's other half is one of the items at the auction. Naturally, I don't assume I can get it by myself. The only advantage I have is having part of an ether core in my heart. Since I can resonate with the energy, I should be able to sense its location. The real problem is figuring out how to escape from the predators lurking in this depths after I obtain it. The N109 zone is currently a mess, and there are enemies no matter where I go. If I have to work with someone, the strongest person here would be the best option. Maybe I should actually make a deal with Silas. Upon realizing this, my next step becomes clear. I get up and say goodbye to the shopkeeper, and when I spot that familiar mark, I look back at his dark, wary expression. "Were you acquainted with my grandma?" He just waves his hand, gesturing for me to leave.
If all goes well for you and whatever happens, then I can say I've repaid Miss Josephine's kindness.
Up until now, I had always thought that Onykinus was hunting down researchers who worked on Ether cores before. But that shopkeeper, who seems to have a strong connection to Grandma, is seeking Salus's protection. Maybe there are other secrets. I think deeply about what the shopkeeper said, lost in thought. But when I go downstairs, the workshop is empty. Salus? The door's curtains, which were closed before, are now rolled up. And after I leave the workshop, Salus's motorcycle is nowhere to be seen. What? Did he just ditch me? Salus? The only response I get is a faint thud from the unlit alley next to the workshop. It's probably trash that fell onto the ground. Just when I was thinking about whether or not I should work with him, he disappeared on me. There are only piles of scrap in the empty streets. I look around, my heart pounding. Maybe after confirming he couldn't resonate with me, he finally lost his patience and interest. So be it. At least I can freely move around now.
Would you like to buy a flower, miss?
A clear voice resounds. I turn and see a little girl behind me. She appears to be 8 or 9 years old. No, thank you.
Would you like a gun, bullets, or a particore then? I have them all.
I don't need those either. But it might be a good idea to chat with the locals and get information about the auction. I kneel down to be at eye level and tap her basket. You know where I can buy some intel, sweetie?
That's easy. Follow me.
2 sets of footsteps echo across the empty street. Meanwhile, the sound of flapping wings can be heard in the distance. I look up at the sky, but I see nothing except dark clouds that obscure moonlight. A crow perches on a streetlight that's been dilapidated for years. The red glow in its eyes flickers as it breathes. A few blood-stained tufts of gray fur peek out from under its metal claws. It quietly observes the 2 girls, one tall and one short, as they head into another filthy street. It tilts its head and thinks for a moment. Then, it quickly drops its dead prey and silently spreads its wings to follow them. Lying under the streetlight are 7 or 8 fat rats, all gutted. Mixed with their flesh and blood are broken pieces of monitoring equipment.